Today we are talking about 12 fantasy football hot takes that I have for the 2024 fantasy football season. Some of the craziest stuff that you're not going to see from any other content creators, any other fantasy analysts, but right here on this channel. We're going to get hot. We're going to get crazy. We're going to throw some stuff out there that is going to happen this season, and you are going to have it right here. You're going to have the receipts right here to look back on. We are talking 12 flaming hot takes for the 2024 fantasy football season. We're going to start with the quarterbacks. We're going to work our way through the running backs, the wide receivers, and finally the tight ends at the end. But we got 12 here for you. Starting off with number 1, and that is that Caleb Williams will finish as a top 5 fantasy football quarterback. Hot take number 1, Caleb Williams, top 5 fantasy football quarterback. He's got all the tools. He's got rushing upside. He's got weapons. He's going to be a high volume passer. The team is going to be high passing volume offense. He has a solid offensive line. He has the 4 tools that we look for in an elite fantasy football quarterback, and he was absolutely balling in the preseason. I understand it's just the preseason, but when is the last time we have seen a rookie quarterback look this elite in the preseason? It's been a long time, you guys. Caleb Williams, top 5 fantasy football quarterback for this season. Lock it in right now. Hot take number 2, Anthony Richardson and Joe Burrow will finish outside of the top 10 quarterbacks this season. That's right. That is hot take number 2. Anthony Richardson and Joe Burrow will both finish outside the top 10 quarterbacks this season. Richardson, he's going to go down with an injury again. You can let that be a hot take on its own if you'd like. Richardson is going to get hurt again. Yes, I am predicting injury. And I'm also going to predict that this guy cannot throw the ball 10 yards down the field. He has looked absolutely horrendous in the preseason. Horrible. He can't throw the ball downfield. This Colts offense is filled with a bunch of question marks. We have no idea how they're all going to mesh together. Pittman's going to take a step back. Who knows if Jonathan Taylor is the player he once was. Richardson is going to be able to run, but he cannot pass to save his life. And he is going to be the biggest bust at the quarterback position, currently going as QB5. And the other guy, Joe Burrow, has not proven himself that he can stay on the field for the last couple of years now. Been dealing with injuries. Bengals have been underperforming. So why the heck would he be any different this year? I'm going out on a limb again. Another one is Joe Burrow will get injured yet again this season and finish outside the top 10. He lacks that rushing upside. We got the question marks with T. Higgins. We got the question marks with Jamar Chase. We got the new running back backfield. Joe Mixon's gone. What the heck is it going to look like? The offensive line has always been terrible. Joe Burrow and Anthony Richardson are finishing outside the top 10. Those are our hot takes for the quarterback position. Hot take number 3, and this one consists of 3 guys, so you can break it apart if you'd like, because really, individually, these are all 3 hot takes. But I'm going to say Isaiah Pacheco, Rashad White, and James Cook all finish inside the top 8 running backs. That is hot take number 3. Isaiah Pacheco, Rashad White, and James Cook all finish inside the top 8 running backs. These guys are all 3 going to be in prime workhorse running back situations. There are roughly only a dozen workhorse running backs left in the NFL. We see it going the way of the RB by committee. There's going to be so much volume to be had. All 3 of these guys are going to be on elite offenses. Maybe not Rashad White, but they're still going to be an above average offense. And we have seen how much Rashad White benefits from the passing game and checkdowns from Baker Mayfield. And the Bucs are still going to be in the worst division in football. They're going to be able to contend in a lot of games, and it's going to be due to Rashad White's efficiency in the passing game. Isaiah Pacheco, obviously, full-fledged workhorse running back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is dealing with like PTSD or something, so he's probably not going to be ready to go. Pacheco's the guy on arguably the best offense in football, and if they're not the best offense in football, you could argue maybe it's the Dolphins, but you could also argue Eagles or this team, the Buffalo Bills, with Josh Allen at the helm and James Cook being the lead go-to guy and the best player now on this offense with Stefon Diggs gone. Both Isaiah Pacheco, James Cook, along with Rashad White, are going to be top 8 running backs for this season. Lock it in right now. All 3 are values on the draft board. And they are better than both these 2 guys, which is going to be hot take number 4. Saquon Barkley and Derek Henry both finish outside of the top 12 running backs this season. That is hot take number 4. Saquon Barkley and Derek Henry, 2 absolute monsters of workhorse running backs from the past. will finish outside of the top 12 this season. Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. That is the number one concern we need to worry about with the Eagles and with the goal line rushing work. Jalen Hurts is the greatest rushing quarterback on the goal line of all time. That is not arguable in my opinion. The tush push works at like a 97% rate. They're not going to get rid of it just because Jason Kelce's gone. They're just going to keep on doing it every time they get to the goal line. And it's never, ever, ever going to be benefiting Saquon Barkley. He's going to be effective between the 20s. But this is also a team that has so many weapons that they can throw to through the air. Jalen Hurts has been awesome this preseason in training camp at getting the ball through the air at a very efficient and effective rate. A.J. Brown is elite. Devonta Smith is solid. They have Dallas Goedert. They just signed Jahan Dotson. They clearly want to get work done through the air. I know Saquon Barkley was one of the best prospects of all time, but has he really ever lived up to the hype since his rookie year? No. He struggled with injuries, and I believe that could continue to plague him with the Philadelphia Eagles. Derrick Henry, we got the same thing. He's going to contend with Lamar Jackson. You can see the trend that I'm going for here is I'm not going to draft old running backs on new teams with rushing heavy quarterbacks. I'm just not doing it. There's just way too many red flags for me to want to take these guys over guys who are younger, who have been in the same system, who are workhorses in the sense that their quarterback isn't going to steal work for them. Absolutely get me away from Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. They both are going to bust this season and finish outside the top 12 running backs. Hot take number 5. We got another trio of guys I'm going to talk about, and you can separate these three if you'd like, because that would be a hot take as well. But Tyjae Spears, Ezekiel Elliott, and Devin Singletary are going to finish inside the top 24 running backs. Yes, I believe Spears will rise as the superior talent to Tony Pollard, who is extremely underwhelming. Ezekiel Elliott is going to be the goal line back on this Cowboys offense that is going to be a top 10 offense in the league year after year. I understand CD is dealing with holdout situations. I understand they lost Tony Pollard. Dak Prescott is still an elite quarterback with an asterisk during the regular season. And Zeke Elliott is going to get up to 10 touchdowns this season on the ground. And Devin Singletary, I understand the Giants are arguably the worst team in the league, but Singletary is going to be a full-fledged workhorse. Absolutely no competition for touches in that backfield other than Singletary. And he's actually a mediocre running back. So for a guy going outside of like the top 32 running backs, give me Devin Singletary as a full-flown workhorse every day of the week. Tyjae Spears, Zeke Elliott, and Devin Singletary will all be top 24 running backs. That is hot take number 5. One last hot take before we're done with the first half. We're moving on to the wide receivers. It's my go-to guy. Chris Olave, number 6, is going to be a top 5 fantasy football wide receiver. I am quadrupling down from like my last 5 videos. This guy is going to be elite this season. He is so much better than every other skill player on this offense. He is going to get all of the volume, all of the deep targets, all of the red zone targets. He's going to get all of everything that this Saints offense has to offer. It has been stressed that Derek Carr cannot just continue to check the ball down, and Chris Olave is going to be the number 1 beneficiary of that. Give me Chris Olave at any point in the second round because he is going to be a top 5 fantasy wide receiver this season. That's the first half of our hot takes for the 2024 fantasy football season. Real quick, please do me a huge favor. If you're still sticking around for this video, leave a like, hit that subscribe button. It would greatly be appreciated by me. Let's jump into these final 6 hot takes. I'm saying my hot takes on this video so that you guys have the receipts to hold me accountable, but you also better be knowing that when these happen, I'm going straight back to this video and we're going to take a look and I'm going to let you guys hear about it. 1,000,000%. Hot take number 7 is Stefon Diggs finishes 15 spots higher than Nico Collins and Tank Dell in fantasy points this season. Stefon Diggs is a superior talent to Nico Collins, and he is going to get much more volume than Tank Dell and be much more effective in the red zone. That is my hot take for fantasy football, Stefon Diggs, and the Houston Texans wide receiver core. Stefon Diggs finishes 15 wide receiver spots ahead of Nico Collins and Tank Dell. He has still got it, and Stroud is going to relight that fire under him as one of the best wide receiver talents that we have seen in the last decade. Hot take number 8, Justin Jefferson finishes outside of the top 12 wide receivers. I just listened to a metric that of like 48 qualifying quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins was the 4th most accurate quarterback in the NFL right now. I believe that's what it was. Sam Darnold, of qualifying quarterbacks, was number 47 out of 48 accurate quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I don't want to hear that Justin Jefferson is just as good as he is with Kirk Cousins as he is without. That is not happening. Justin Jefferson is going to decline massively. There is no possible way he can return mid-first round draft value. He is going to bust. He is going to finish outside of the top 12 wide receivers, and everyone is too afraid to say it, but I am not. He is going to bust this season. Now, hot take number 9 is Ladd McConkey and Keon Coleman will both finish inside of the top 24 wide receivers this season. Both are going outside of like the top 44 wide receivers, and I'm going to throw them up 20, 25 spots higher and say they are both going to finish inside the top 24. That is hot take number 9. You know how I feel about wide receiver 2s on their offense. Hot take number 10 is that all of the top wide receiver 2s in the NFL, including Devonta Smith, DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, Nico Collins, T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp, all of these top wide receiver 2s on their teams are going to finish outside of the top 24 in wide receivers for fantasy football this season. That's right. Every single one of those guys is going to finish outside the top 24. Lock it in right now. And if not all of them, then at least like 3 or 4 of them. And if 3 or 4 of them did finish outside the top 24, that would be a hot take in and of itself. But I'm going all 6 of them. Come on, this ain't hot take show for no reason. Number 11, we got the tight end position to talk about. Dalton Kincaid and Jake Ferguson both will outperform Sam Laporta this season in fantasy points. And if one of these guys did, it would be a hot take. But I am going extremely flaming, burning hot. Dalton Kincaid and Jake Ferguson are both going to outscore Sam Laporta in fantasy points this season. Sam Laporta is not worth it to take as the tight end 1. Hot take number 12 to wrap up the show here is George Kittle and Mark Andrews both finish outside the top 12 tight ends for fantasy football 2024. Both of them get plagued with injuries. Kittle is going to be inconsistent if Ayuk sticks around. If Ayuk doesn't, then this take won't really apply. But Mark Andrews has struggled to stay on the field. I believe Zay Flowers is going to take a step up. Both of these guys, Kittle and Andrews, are not going to finish inside the top 12 tight ends. Lock it in right now. Let's zoom through them all one final time. Hot takes for the 2024 fantasy football season. Number 1, Caleb Williams finishes as a top 5 fantasy quarterback. Number 2, Anthony Richardson and Joe Burrow finish outside the top 10 quarterbacks. Number 3, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashad White, and James Cook finish inside the top 8 running backs. Number 4, Saquon Barkley and Derk Henry finish outside of the top 12 running backs. Number 5, Tajay Spears, Zeke Elliott, and Devin Singletary all finish inside the top 24 running backs this season. Number 6, Chris Olave is a top 5 wide receiver. Number 7, Stefon Diggs finishes 15 spots better than Nico Collins and Tank Dell for fantasy football production this season. Number 8, Justin Jefferson finishes outside the top 12 wide receivers. Number 9, Keon Coleman and Ladd McConkey finish inside the top 24. Number 10, all the top wide receiver 2s, Devonta Smith, DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, Nico Collins, T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp, all finish outside the top 24 wide receivers. Last 2, Dalton Kincaid and Jake Ferguson outscore Sam Laporta. And number 12, Kittle and Andrews finish outside the top 12 fantasy football tight ends. Those are your 12 fantasy football hot takes from First and Goal this season. Let me know what you think of these in the comments below. Drop a hot take of your own in the comments. Fantasy football is right around the corner. Hope you guys all have a great week this week. We are just 1 week away from 2024 fantasy football. I cannot wait, you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week. I'm out of here. Let me know your hot takes in the comments below. God bless.